Well, good evening and welcome to About the Valley. We're down here at the Purgatory Beer Company, which is, we have a show called The Man Cave. Well, now we're in the cave.
We certainly are.
So, and I got the guys from the Purgatory Beer Company.
Yeah.
We got Kevin and
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And
Thank you.
they're trying to put together a business here.
That's
Yes, we
right.
are.
Absolutely.
And
Yes, we are.
here's a sample.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to sampling.
Which we won't be drinking on the air, but we
No.
will be drinking after, right?
But we'd
Yes,
love to.
exactly. And I'm really looking forward to sampling. And oh, by the way, give us a call if you want to talk to these guys. I've heard so much buzz around town. Here's the chance to talk to them. They're right here. The number's right there, 266-0990. And don't wait till the end of the show. Everybody calls it 5 minutes of. And I said, we got time to talk now. We got to be go because computer shuts us off.
It does, so we can't go
okay.
long.
No, you
No,
can't go over.
Yeah, my
Okay.
father was worried about that. He said, Harry might want to make it a 2-hour show.
Anyone can be watching this anywhere in the world right now.
That's right.
Because
I'm sure they are
we're
everywhere.
live on the net.
Excellent.
It's awesome.
Excellent.
We're at
Good-
at
good pub.
www.nctv.us.
Great. Hey,
It's a
Stacy and
live
Kim, make sure
streaming
you get that
button
out
and-
to everybody.
Yeah,
If we haven't already.
yeah. The miracles of the modern day broadcasting.
That's right.
I'm on a worldwide TV show.
I love it.
First time for me.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys are microbrewers. We're getting to a little history here. How did you ever get into it?
So, so I started brewing in my mom's kitchen right after college in 1995. And, back then, doing the home brewing, I guess, the micro brewing, craft brewing was a little bit different. Didn't have as many options as you do today. But, so I started in 95, did a little bit with my brother John. And the challenge for anybody who home brews is if you do it, you really shouldn't do it yourself. And it has nothing to do with safety. It has nothing to do with anything outside of the fact that,
You can really screw it up.
well, you can screw it up. You can
Yeah.
screw it up. But it's all about packaging. And when I started in 95, and I did it for many, many years, I was putting, even with just a couple of gallons of beer, you'd put that beer into a 12-ounce bottle. Even with a couple of gallons of beer, it becomes tedious. And you get to a point where, you know something? I'd rather just go down the street, go to the package store, and get whatever.
A couple of gallons is a lot of 12-ounce bottles.
It is. It is. So it gets old, and I think that's the issue with a lot of home brewers is they just get tired of the process. So I did it for many, many years. Stopped for a while, got married, had some kids, and once the kids start to grow up a little bit, you're like, I've got some
Get
spare
back
time
into
on
it.
my hands.
Yep. Yeah, and so the good thing was Kevin's wife bought, as a gift, bought a home brew kit. So the two of us got together. We started 5-6 years ago.
Something like that.
And the first time we made it in the kitchen, which was probably a mistake. We should have been outside. But the first couple batches were not that good.
Oh,
But over the years, we feel like we got better and better. And then all of a sudden, our friends who would be brutally honest with us started to say, you guys could sell this stuff. It's very, very good. And since the time that Kev started brewing to now, the quality of beer and the styles of beer have changed so much that it's not like the way it was where you had very little choice. There's so much choice now. We've really honed in on the styles that we love, and we got to a point where we felt good enough about it, really loved our beer, to where we were like, yeah, let's turn this into something.
well, for years you had a Pilsner or a lager.
That was it.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. And ironically, those are two of the beers that we will not be brewing.
That's right.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, after Prohibition, all the neighborhood brewers basically were put out of business because they had to be out of business.
Right.
And the only folks that were able to stick around were folks like Anheuser-Busch who were able to just kind of
Well,
change their
They
business.
got into
in
the
short
bakery
run.
business.
Bakery business, making just malt beverages that weren't alcohol based, if you will, and their specialty were pilsners, albeit they were trying to mimic Czech pilsners, even though I think over the years they strayed away from the Czech pilsner.
Now they're a lager.
They're a lager. So our business is primarily ales. We make some beers that will taste kind of like a Pilsner, but,
Lighter, yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, and then the styles range from the ales, IPAs, double IPAs, porters, stouts, and then flavors across all of them, which is good.
And just like Brian said, when we started brewing together, I just said to him, like, I got this kit. I'd like to re-engage in what I already know. You want to do it? And Brian's like, yeah. I don't think he quite realized where this was going to end up. But one of the things that Brian, so our first batch, we made an IPA, and we didn't drink the whole batch.
We still have
for
some.
good reason. We still have one bottle. It'll be on display at the brewery. But we decided, something, we're not going to do what a lot of the home brewers do with extracts and additives and things like that. What we're going to do is we're going to go just with natural materials. And what I mean by that is grain, yeast, hops, water. Bang. No additives, no preservatives, no extracts. Let's do it that way. They say it's hard. Let's try that and see how we do. And again, it was just a evolution over the years, but it didn't take us long to start getting beer that was very drinkable. But one of the things we did say, we're like, something, let's only make beers that we like. Because we made a Hefeweizen, and it was terrible. His father-in-law just flat out told him it was terrible. He told me it was terrible. So like, something.
Was it bitter?
It just wasn't.
Didn't taste like beer. It wasn't good.
It didn't taste like beer, but the problem is, my wheelhouse isn't Hefeweizen. So I'm like, even if it was good or bad, I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
So we focused on our beloved IPAs, double IPAs. I think we've got like 9 recipes at this point. But now that we're moving towards the commercial side, we're not just making beer for ourselves and our friends. We have to make beer for everybody.
Yeah, start branching out.
Yeah.
India Pale Ale is what IPA is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know why they call it that?
It's because the British soldiers that would be in India
Yep.
in the 1800s, they figured out that hops were an incredible preservative, and that's the reason why they use them. They did not
Yep.
use them because of flavor. So
It helps preserve the beer.
it preserves the beer, it kills bacteria.
Yep.
So what's ironic is I think the IPAs of yesteryear, of the British soldiers with the white hats and all the
Yep.
pith hats, is wildly different than what we're making
Yeah,
here in
the
New
English
England.
style's way
Right.
different. Yeah.
But
Yeah, and it kept on board ship.
yes,
Because how much fresh water can you take? They got rum and they got beer.
Right.
Yeah,
and if they didn't
So
have
they
any of
lived
those
off
two
of that.
things, there'd be a riot.
Yeah, Kevin,
exactly.
Kevin and I live off beer, pretty much, too.
Well, beer is a food you can live on.
It is.
It is.
I wouldn't say forever, but
No.
We've lasted a while.
it is sustainable because there is quite a bit. There is some nutrition to it.
Right.
I mean, people might laugh about that.
No,
but we're not
we
talking
don't.
a Budweiser though.
that's right.
Or we're not talking a Miller Lite. We're
No.
talking a real beer, a beer that's got some. I like a good strong beer
Yep.
because I like to know I had a beer.
That's,
Mhm.
Yep.
If I drink a light beer, I feel like I drank a glass of ice water.
Yeah.
Whereas, after spending a year and a half in Germany, you get used to having a real beer, and you only need one, and you feel like you had a beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got a couple of styles that'll make you feel that way. now, Harry, what's if you were to go to any of the local package stores to get a beer, what would you get?
Well, right now I've been buying the Yuling Dark and Tan.
Oh, nice. That's good.
It's a good beer.
Yeah.
I know it's a combination of 2 beers,
Right.
but it's very good tasting beer.
Right.
And I'm diabetic, so I can't drink a lot of it. Even
Okay.
The doctor will hang me.
Uh-huh.
When I have one, I enjoyed it.
Great.
I had a good beer.
Yeah.
If I go out, a lot of times I'll get a Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see, I like the darker stuff
Yep.
because
Okay.
you get a better taste to it.
Yeah.
And I like a little bit of a bite.
Okay.
I like a bite in my beer.
Excellent.
We can supply that.
Sure.
We make for St. Patrick's Day we had a little event at my home and we had an
You
IPA.
made a Guinness?
I made a chocolate milk stout
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
some of my friends who are Guinness aficionados said if you add some nitrogen to it, which we'll have at Purgatory, it'll
Yep.
be spot on. So I got a beer for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah. We cannot wait to open.
Now,
That's
you're
for
you're
sure.
strictly gonna serve beer,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
no
Yes.
food.
Well, we'll have snacks,
Snacks,
and
but-
then the idea is two things. We have the creperie across the street, which
Yeah.
Donna owns, and she's been awesome to us. She's actually, the food there is terrific.
I've
But she's-
heard, I haven't had a chance to get there.
You got to get over there. So she's been experimenting with some meat pies for us to go along with her crepes, which
Oh.
would go perfect with
She sells
beer.
meat? Fresh
She
meat?
doesn't yet.
Oh.
She's looking at it right now. We
I
tried
think
one
they
and
call them goettes.
it was dynamite. And so we've got Donna, who's all in for us, and then we'll bring in food trucks too
We
on the
have to go all the way
weekends.
down to Rhode Island, down to Cello's to get a good meat pie.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's, she does a nice job. So, one of the things, we've got our federal and our state farm brew license, so it's a different license than, say, just a pure liquor license. So we can serve just our beer. That was the intention all along. So what we're gonna be doing later this month is we're gonna be going towards, we're gonna spend some time with the Board of Selectmen, and we're gonna ask them for a pouring license to allow us to
Which
pour
we know
something
problem.
along.
There's a ton of them in town.
Are there?
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of
Are you gonna
available.
guarantee it?
I'll guarantee you'll get your pouring license.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
So we didn't have
You
to
heard
even
that,
show up.
everybody.
So as part of having the pouring license, and one of the things that we made, very clear to anybody that'll listen to us is, we're gonna make our beer. We can sell our beer and only our beer. So that's the plan. Are we a bar? No, we don't have a liquor license. We can only sell our product. But if we're gonna be able to pour a 16 ounce or a 12 ounce beer, gotta serve something. Now,
Right.
some places they'll sell potato chips, or they'll sell some prepackaged thing, and we
Right.
could do that too. But just because of our creativity and I guess just our appreciation in the quality of our product, we have Donna with Maison and our friends at Ux Local in Uxbridge working on formulas for Bavarian pretzels. So
Oh,
I think you might be into
wow,
that,
there
Harry.
we go.
And I don't know if you've been there, but all the food's great. So the pretzels, I'm sure, will be awesome too, for sure.
I'd love to find a place where I could go down and get some schnitzel and pomfrets.
Well, maybe there's a food truck that we could bring in that serves that. You
Yeah.
never know. There's so many of them around right now.
Well, we have there's the festival in a couple weeks, I think on the 20th, Wooed by the Food.
Yeah.
So I can't go to it, but you're gonna have to be there.
The last time I had a good schnitzel was at Disney World.
Yeah?
At
Oh, yeah?
in-
Epcot.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Epcot.
In Germany.
In the German pavilion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, schnitzel's
That's where you
great.
have to go to Epcot to have beer when
Yeah.
you're at Disney.
They have
Right.
a real, there we have real German beer. Lowenbrau is not real German beer.
No, it's not.
No, anyway, okay, wait,
I think Lowen in German means something, right?
Right. And the Dutch one, I forget the name of it now. It's not.
Heineken?
Well, Heineken, yeah, it's not the real thing. It's not the same.
Right.
They Americanize it.
Yeah.
Because Americans don't know real good beer.
Like Meisterbrow.
Yes.
Remember Meisterbrow?
Meister Chow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's more like what you're doing because over there, every town has a brewery, sometimes 2 and 3.
Right.
So you get real homemade beer.
It's funny you mentioned that, Harry, because what we're finding is as these breweries start to pop up all over, Dave Fields at Wormtown and Worcester,
Yeah.
there's a really tight community.
They make a good beer.
They make a great beer.
He's awesome, and so what we're finding is it's not necessarily like a cutthroat competitive thing. These brewers want each other to succeed, and we've
Yeah.
gotten a lot of advice from these guys, like Dave. And anytime you stop into one, everybody's totally open to question. It's been great. We've gotten
Well,
so much support.
Sam Adams started as a microbrew.
That's right. That's right.
And it's still a good beer,
Yeah.
but
It's-
he's gone.
It's very different from the macro and the micro brews now.
Yeah.
It's become
He's become nationalized.
yeah.
It's not the same anymore.
No.
No, it's not. I mean, the quality's still there, and
It's a quality, but it's not the same as when it was a microbrew.
no, well,
No.
there's, I think with what we're doing, there's a certain vibe to being small and focusing on small batches and quality, and it's one of these things where I just think there's been a flight to quality over the last number of years. People appreciate just better stuff. better
There's
flavor,
a-
local stuff, fresh.
There's a pub, Owen Murphy, is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Owen O'Leary's
O'Leary, Owen
in
O'Leary.
Westboro?
Yeah,
Yes,
wife and I like to go there.
Yep.
They brew their own beer.
they do,
Yes, they
yeah,
do.
they just
And when I
started.
go there, would you have? I want what you brew.
Right,
If I go to a restaurant, a pub, we like going to pubs, and I can find a microbrew, that's what I buy.
Mhm.
It's a
Nice.
little bit more money, but I know I'm getting something good, and I like to try different microbrews.
all different things. Yeah, like at Macy's Liquors in town.
Yes.
You used to go in there, well, any liquor store back in the day, it was, you don't have much selection. Now you go in there, the
Like at
shelves
the
are,
microbrew section.
there's different beers in there every week, new beers. And so
Yep.
it's great to try
What-
all
what-
kinds of
You're naming
stuff.
all these brews. Wachusett's is another one that started as a microbrew.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah,
And they still very much are. Yeah, they've been at it for a while.
but now you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, and you know, often, you know, and even my
But what
parents
you're
have said,
doing is pretty unique. I don't think anybody's done that yet, have they?
in regards to what?
Whereas they've opened up a place where they sell their own brew, and that's about it.
It's
It's getting more common.
it's a
for
fairly
sure.
prevalent license. So it's the farm brew license, and when we were, you know, just kind of thinking about doing this whole venture and so on, you know, we're getting information about just the licensing process and hearing horror stories about it, and some of those horror stories are founded in regards to just how long it takes. But with the farm brew license, it's something that came out. I don't even know when it was launched in Massachusetts, but the whole premise is what it encourages is for you to use local farms. So we have to use some materials from
Local
farms from
farms.
Massachusetts.
Right.
So more than likely, we're going to be using some grain from the western part of Massachusetts. So it encourages you to use local product. So we're going to do that.
What keeps our farms going is,
Sure does.
Yeah.
instead of housing developments.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, do you have local hop growers?
I think there are. I mean, we're certainly within the growing range.
I think, wasn't there one down at Cape at one, I don't know if he's still down in that area.
It's possible. I mean, there are definitely hop growers in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is not a state that's known for their hops. You know, I think they make bittering hops for the most part. Aroma hops are kind of the highly prized types of hops
Right.
that are out there, but it's within the growing range. So there are that, but I mean, there's folks, again, like Valley Malt out in the western part of the state that have been growing malt, and basically malts grain for some time.
Yeah, they got some good microbreweries way out in western Mass.
Yes,
yeah.
they do. Yes, they do.
Steel Rail, I think it's,
It's, I think Steel Rail is, that's Berkshire
Yeah.
Brewing Company.
Berkshire Brewing.
And they've been
Treehouses
around for a
out
while.
there.
Yeah, if we travel out that way, I always I'll always take one of theirs.
Yeah,
Massachusetts has, so, you know, I do a fair amount of traveling. I cover New England with my day job. So I'm up in places like Vermont and Maine where, you know, they've had a lot of these brewers have been around for not as long as you think. I mean, pretty much the last 10 years. And those are kind of the places you had to make day trips to get some of the meaty double IPAs that we like. But I'll tell you this, Massachusetts has caught up very quickly.
yeah,
I mean, Massachusetts has some of the best brewers in the country.
yeah, no
So-
doubt.
I wanted to get into, it took you a year, you had to get a federal license. A lot of people have said to me, what do they need a federal license for?
So you need federal, state, town,
Town.
and then the pouring license. So there's many
So-
licenses
See, a regular bar needs a pouring license
Yes.
Yep.
And
Well,
that's it.
pouring and liquor
and a
license,
liquor
yes.
license.
And a liquor license,
Right, right.
Yep.
and the purpose behind that is they tax different because they tax you for when you pour.
And that's exactly what the federal and the state is all about too. So it's all about tracking.
Because you're gonna brew your own,
Right.
they got no way of taxing
They-
you gotta tax the brewery.
They want to tax every ounce that we sell. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you go through the process, and when we started, you submit an application so that you can hear back, so that you can submit an application for your license. So it's basically you're submitting an application to wait in line, and then when you hear back, then you can submit you got 15 days to submit for your license, and that's how it works. And
Is
the
this through
average,
the IRS?
No,
No.
it's actually the TTB, which used to be the ATF. But
Right.
just like Brian mentioned, It took,
TTB, that's a new one on me.
yeah, well, they're
kind.
constantly changing acronyms,
Yeah.
moving the shells around. But and they were wonderful people, but it took us 271 days for just our number to get called. It's like going to the grocery store and the deli counter.
That's
takes
just
you-
for them to contact.
just for them
Yeah,
to contact you, and
yeah.
then they say to you, they're like, okay, we have these things that we need you to get to us, which is fine. We take our business seriously, and we'll give you 15 days to get, or 14 days, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second, this is a strange.
Right.
This,
And then if you
but-
don't get it, you go back to the bottom of the pile.
Oh
And so,
my God.
So that's the process. And
Yep.
these, like Kev said, like there's breweries popping up everywhere. And so with limited resources at the federal level, you expect the line to be longer.
Right.
And we had a representative who was super nice. I'd call Kev and say, hey, maybe just shoot her an email or something, and we try, but the process was what the process was. We got to our 271 first day, and then after that we're all set. But that whole time you're in a space.
Yep.
You have to have a space before you can even start. So that 271 days there's a lot happening, but not a lot happening. So you're before you can make a dime, you have to wait and still do things like pay rent. And luckily
Yeah.
with our landlord, he was very flexible.
Yep.
Bill Giannopoulos, who owns the mill, and
Right.
Bill and Patty were great to us. We looked at Kev, scoped out a few different spaces, and basically the second he walked in, and the space was pretty rough when we started there, but the second he walked in, he saw that it had tremendous potential, and then on top of that, when Bill and Patty came into the picture, we met them through Marty. We knew that it was the perfect place for us because, again, he owned Friendly's.
Yep.
He's
Well, used to.
yes, he did. So, which is now Macy's. He's got tons of experience, which
Yeah.
he's been more than helpful. He's been a mentor, and the space is perfect.
Well, he's got
with
a
all
lot
the
of years in the
businesses.
industry, so
Yep.
he's familiar with the beer and.
Yeah, and so we got the space, and basically within that 271 days, really got to work in just gutting it. When we open, we'll have the before and after, and you almost wouldn't recognize the place.
I've been in there. I mean, you've really cleaned it up nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thank you, Harry. And I tell you this, I mean, the space that we have. Oh, we had a phone call?
Yep.
Nice.
Want to take
Great.
the call?
Sure.
Sure.
It takes me a minute here to work.
It's not
this
my
thing.
mom,
I
is
hope
it?
it's my son, Crank, calling us.
Go ahead, you're on.
Hello, my name is Dave Double Dutch. I have a question. I would like to know if you will be having any citrus beer.
Having
What's
any
this?
what beer?
Citrus beer.
Citrus beer for you, Dave. We will have citrus beer.
But we're not putting
Thank
any.
you so much, Brian. I cannot wait to enjoy a pretzel at Purgatory Beer Company.
Okay,
You're
thank you.
welcome. Thank you.
It sounds like Trump.
Signing off, Double Dutch Dave.
Okay.
What do we got around here?
All set?
Great. Thank you.
Oh, should we take any more phone calls? I don't know.
Every now and then you get that.
Did they
So,
screen the calls?
I hate flavored beer.
like lemon or the
You shouldn't
blueberry
put anything in
blueberry
beer. Beer isn't meant to
That's
have
right.
flavors
That's
added
right.
to it.
Now, so when you go to a bar and you see a big burly guy stick a big orange slice into a beer, that bothers you?
No, it doesn't. I don't care if he does it, but I don't want it.
You don't want it.
It's
Yeah,
one
we-
thing that
we
I
don't.
will assure you, Harry, is if you buy my beer and you bring it to your house and you can put whatever you like in it, but at Purgatory Beer, and we've got the background that you see are the walls inside the brewery.
Right.
It's let's just put it this way: we're not going to have a garnish tray on our bar for you
No.
to choose.
But
I
we
mean,
might have citrus beer for Double Dutch
I,
Dave.
with the Corona, they went to the lime, and now Budweiser makes a
Lime-A-Rita?
a lime beer. and-
Gross.
Look, if I want lime, I'll order a drink with lime.
Yeah.
But I don't want lime in my beer.
it's
No.
They started
No,
adding
we're with
fruits to. You know why they added fruits to booze?
to sell more
Because the
fruit.
booze was so bad
It's so
during
terrible,
the Prohibition that they flavored it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a good beer doesn't need any flavor. It's got its own great flavor.
You're right.
So why
You're
should I add
won't.
blueberries or?
It's
The one thing we will do, is it's not quite the same, but like with our porter or maybe a seasonal beer, look, with the porter, we'll make a coconut porter, which
Yeah.
is a little bit different. And it just adds a nice texture and a little hint of coconut, but it's not we're not adding a ton of blueberries
I mean, people that like it, to
Yeah.
each their own.
Yeah.
I could care less.
It's,
But I don't want it myself.
But that,
Right.
that brings up a good point, Harry. It's like, it's one of these things where, we love double IPAs and we have styles that we prefer, bigger than others,
Well,
but,
there's one there. There must be 42 different flavored vodkas out there now.
oh,
They
no,
come out with one a
totally,
week.
totally. But the thing is, one of the things that we're very conscious of, when it comes to, our brewery and the various beers that we're gonna make is, we wanna make beers that people want. So, we have beers, I've got a double IPA that's at 8.5%. That's not for everybody. But we also make a session IPA, which is it's not a watered down IPA, it's just an IPA that has less alcohol, that has 3.9%. So today I was just thinking, 3.9% is a good number, especially when you have a beer with flavor. And I'm like, something, on a Coors Light can, they don't say what the ABV is.
No, they don't.
So I had to look it up. The ABV on a Coors Light is 4.2%.
Yep.
So I've got an IPA, we've
It's
got an
almost a
IPA.
3.2
Right.
beer.
Yeah,
Right.
Used to
So-
call it near beer.
And it tastes like a big IPA, much bigger. So, right, to Kev's point, like a Coors Light tastes like water, and the session IPA that we have tastes like a big IPA.
Yeah, when I was in the Army, they used to serve 3.2 beer to the guys in basic training when you go up to the beer hall on
Yeah.
the weekend. Because they didn't want us to get drunk.
Right.
yeah, well, it's just a matter of time, I guess. But, so we mix it up. I mean, we've got ales. We've never really done lagers, primarily because I'm not a huge lager fan, and
Right.
just the brewing process is a little bit different. But we've been able to come up with a ale recipe. We kind of call it a lawnmower ale, lawnmower beer. It's not to be disrespectful. It's a beer that you want to have after you mow
cut
the
the
lawn.
lawn,
It's time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an ale, but we use Pilsner malt, so it has a crisp Pilsner taste. We use German hops, but not too much, and it has a slight citrusy note to it. So
I'll tell you, a light beer, cold light beer, tastes good on a hot summer day when
Yeah.
you get done working. Yeah, really, it's like drinking a nice glass of ice water.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I prefer it over ice water.
But, with my meal, I like a beer that's part of my meal,
Yep.
like a meal.
That's right.
It's the meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we have some beers that you'll like, Harry.
So where around here would you want to see Purgatory beer? Restaurants.
I'd love to see a pub restaurant come in.
Oh, that would be great. There's a lot of good restaurants around.
But I think they all should carry it. They'd be foolish not to.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We've had some restaurant owners / chefs reach out. They're excited to put the beer in their space
You got a problem is with the national chains because you can't talk to anybody that has any authority.
without distributorship.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
right.
it's one of the nice things. I think that the farm brew license has evolved over time, which is good because I think it was fairly restrictive when they came out with it. And one of the things that we like about it is if you want to get Purgatory beer, you've got to go to the location, with the stone
Yeah.
walls and so on. And I think you'll want to. It's a really cool retail location. Most breweries, if you go to them, as good as the beer is, they tend to be steel buildings, probably have a cool little tasting room and so
Oh, no,
on.
this is good. This is really got a great ambiance.
Yes.
It really
Yeah.
does.
You sit in there, it'd be like being in the real man cave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you go in. It's funny because Brian was talking about the fact that I met Bill and Patty Giannopoulos, and we went in for the first time. It was a storeroom, and as we've been working in there, even though we haven't heard any ghosts or sounds, we find out the sort of businesses that it's been. It's been around since the late 1890s, I believe, and I think they used to fix motorcycles there. It used to be
There's a print shop there.
the Cowan burial vault business was in there.
Oh,
So they made everything except for beer. So like, okay, well, we have to
Well,
check
originally
that
it was a
box.
cotton mill.
Yeah, well, that
Right,
too, yeah.
Right. The
So,
Linwood Mills. Yep.
so I walked into the place, and it was a storeroom. It was a garage. It smelled like oil and must and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I saw those walls, and of course the walls are behind me, but when we went in there, the walls were white. The ceilings were painted black, the walls were white, and we had the ability to sandblast the place, and as you've seen it going in there, we're
Yeah,
working
you spent a
diligent.
lot of hours and time and,
Hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah.
We ripped out everything. And actually, originally we were trying to decide what we should leave. And then Bill suggested, why don't you guys just rip out everything and start new? And he was right. He was totally right.
yeah, I mean, that's a really nice wall.
Ah,
And,
it's beautiful.
this was built at a time when they were real craftsmen working
Everything
on
by
this.
hand.
Yeah.
we've been, and working in there, we put a rail on the wall. And we had to grind down some of the granite.
Yeah.
And you realize how hard it must have been to not have
Oh.
any kind of tools or power tools and
No, it was all hand
just
tools.
unbelievable.
But
Yeah.
what's wild is, if you look at the wall, and these are all hand-laid stone, these,
Yeah.
they didn't compress them into bricks or whatever.
No.
And I'm looking at the wall, I'm like, that wall is straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
well, these masons were unbelievable.
They were.
They
Yeah.
were, so, when we saw the place, and with the Giannopolises, they just basically refused to let us look anywhere else.
No, they were pretty adamant about you going in there.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
excited. They
Yeah.
were totally excited. And it's great because there's other businesses there.
Yeah.
The building is beautiful. The whole
Oh,
space. The waterfall's perfect.
They've done an outstanding job with that building and
Yeah.
rebuilt the dam and
Yeah, it's great. And it's sort of a centrally located space with 3 towns surrounding it, basically, which
Yeah.
should be good for us, for
Because,
sure.
we don't live in Northbridge. We live in Southie, which is South Sutton.
Yeah.
So we're 5 minutes away from the
Yeah.
location. That was important to be, because we're there, we have day jobs and we're down at the mill constantly. So it's our weekend and night job, and we've apologized
sure it
many
goes over
times
well
to our
with the
families.
wives.
They've been very supportive.
They've been
That's
very
important.
supportive.
Yes.
That's important. If you don't have their support, it's not going to
They're
work.
very excited
Yes.
to get
That's
us out
good.
of the house. No.
So it's a great location. We liked it because we set off the road. There's plenty of parking there. And I was thinking, I've been to many breweries because I travel throughout New England and other places. And I'm like, I've never been to a brewery. I've been to wineries, but I've never been to a brewery that looked quite like this. And when it comes to decorating it, in kind of our whole vibe, the name, Purgatory Beer. I mean, when people hear it, they always think about, the heaven and hell sort of thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's not what it is. Actually, I was driving in Vermont, and my license plate is Purgatory, not fully spelled out, but it's obvious what it is. And a guy looks at me, he goes, I'd rather go to heaven. I'm like, it's not what you think, brother. It's not what you think. But our whole vibe, we're like, okay, this is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
We live in South Sutton. We decided to do this in Northbridge. Uxbridge is here. Douglas is here. The neighborhood brewery thing is important to us. But, we started to think, how do we want this to be? How do we want this to look? Now, with the space, like, this thing lends very much to just the industrial past of this area. But we also want to kind of have a woodsy.
Yeah, and I mean, having our kids grow up here, taking them to
Yep.
the Chasm all the time, that's a space everybody loves. Purgatory Chasm's super popular.
Oh, yeah.
So it seemed like a natural fit with
We
the mill
forget
space.
how many nice things we have right here in South Central Mass.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's so quiet, but there's tons to do. We're right in between Worcester and Providence. It's a great place to live and a great place, for the kids to grow up.
And I'll tell you, we did a business forum session with the Board of Selectmen. It was a very, very positive meeting that we had with them. And some of the selectmen, or one of the gentlemen, just thanked us for considering Northbridge. And that was incredibly flattering. But then when Brian and I think about it, it's like, well, that makes sense. I mean, this is a big venture. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and fortune being spent on this. But we're not from here. We've lived in many places. We ended up here.
Yeah.
But this is our home now.
Your commitment, I mean, you're not talking a business that you open in 1 or 2 weeks or
No.
a couple of months. You've been a year just getting your
Yes.
federal license,
Yes.
Yep.
then you got to get a state license,
Yes.
Yep,
and then you got to get the town,
that's
Yes.
right.
And then you gotta get a pouring license. Well,
Yes.
pouring
That's right,
license is
Harry.
gonna be the easiest one up for you.
And I'll tell you,
I hope so.
I don't think we would have considered it if the town wasn't so business friendly. And,
That's
because
good to
we
hear.
considered other towns.
Yep.
And almost right away, we realized how difficult, how many hurdles there would be. And so with, with the support, and it wasn't just Bill and Patty, they were a huge help, but then all of a sudden, hearing about how excited the town was about it, it made it much easier for us to consider, because to your point, we knew from the beginning that we couldn't just start selling beer out of Kev's garage.
Right.
We're gonna have to put a serious time commitment into this before we could make a dime.
Yeah.
And so knowing that the town was excited and, very happy to work with us and try to figure things out along the way made it so much easier. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, any place you go, the bureaucracy is a hard thing to get through. And you always.
We didn't find that here.
No,
No,
no.
we
Good to
didn't.
hear.
No, from
No.
the very first meeting, there's good questions because,
Yeah. Well, it's never been done before.
and the town wants to protect the people
Yeah.
of the town, and so
And you gotta
they ask
stay
the right
within
questions.
the rules and the
That's right.
bylaws.
Yep, but never did
Zoning.
we got no negativity, we got support, and, as long as we follow the rules, we should be fine.
It's, on this topic, a quick shout out to some folks that were very, very helpful to us. I mean, we've been talking, the process is long, and we knew it would be.
Yeah.
And people would come up to us all the time, and they're like, oh, we're so excited about this. When are you gonna open? And we always have to say, you know something? I wish I was the master of my own universe, but I'm not. And there's a lot of people we gotta go through, a lot of people we
Yeah.
gotta talk, a lot of people we have to get yeses from and get approvals from. So be patient. This is a marathon, not a sprint, thank God. Right now, we're probably on, mile 25? I'm thinking
yeah.
maybe mile 26 or whatever it might be. But I'll tell you this, we got our federal license, and Jeannie Hebert, right across the way from us,
Yes.
so Jeannie Hebert basically mentioned to us, with the Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah, she's been on this show a number of times.
she's been on here a number of times, and she said, listen, once you get your federal license and you need to get that state license, let me know.
Yep.
And she got, Representative Muradian's office working on it immediately. Taylor with Representative Muradian's office was incredibly easy to work with. The ABCC, Massachusetts ABCC, was not that bad. Possibly it was because we got some help from our friends.
Yep.
When it comes to town here, Sharon and Melissa in Ted Kozak's office have been incredibly helpful. They've been kind of head manning the whole pouring license bit. When I called the office and mentioned, hey, we got our state license, let's dance. Sharon gave me a call and she's like, okay, this is what I know. What do you know? Let's work on this together, because this is the first time we've ever done this. Let's do it right. But it's not this is what I want from you, and it was a joint venture. It was a collaboration, and I appreciate that. And and they've been incredibly helpful. So, it's Brian and I are partners, members of this little venture called Purgatory Beer, but a lot of people have helped us along the way, and we appreciate that.
No doubt.
Now, you're gonna have your bats and everything right there in the,
Yes, sir.
We are.
Yeah, and then, down the road, if we start to grow as we expect, we might have to do some, move out of the space, keep that space as our retail space and the
Yep.
place where everybody comes, but if we expand, we'll probably have to do it in some other space.
has Bill got some more room down there for you?
I'm sure Bill's got
Bill could
room
find
for
something
us.
for us.
He's one of those guys that I think he's got some solutions
But you know
for
what's
us.
great too, you drive 2 minutes and there's tons of mill space,
Yeah.
where like Fulcrum is in the AW and right
Oh,
in
yeah.
town, so we don't have to go far,
Right.
that's for sure.
Yeah, we would stay local, and the whole plan is to be local, small batch, quality over quantity. But when we do open and folks see just the time and attention we put into our space, and we'll have those pictures, the before and after pictures, you'll realize we're not going anywhere.
No.
That's going to be right now it's our tasting room, it's going to be our tap room with the pouring license if we get that, and of course our brewing facility. But I think one of the things I mentioned, most brewers they have a tap room, but their focus is on their distribution
Right.
and their manufacturing. You'll go into our space and you'll realize our manufacturing area is very, very small. Our big focus is on the retail location and just in that atmosphere.
Will you be able to sell it in the Millhouse Liquors, or?
That's a good question. So,
Down the road,
yeah,
yeah, there's a couple of different ways to do it, self-distributorship or go through a distributor. And, you know, eventually, potentially do self-distributorship. It would be great if we do, but we need to
Well,
get,
if you go through a distributor, now you gotta really start putting out some product.
yeah, we
because-
probably wouldn't do that.
But if you do self-distributor, you could just do it locally and,
Yeah, and then, you know, it'd be great to be in some local restaurants,
yeah,
just to have a presence and get
Right.
some local beer in the space. So if you go to places around here, you might see Wormtown, which is kind of cool. But it would be nice to be in a couple of local places,
Well,
or
Wormtown
Ux
keeps-
Local.
growing quite a bit. Now you got trucks out there for crying out loud, running around.
Yeah,
no,
oh yeah, they're
it's-
everywhere.
Yeah.
they've done a
They've done a great job.
They've done a great job, and you know, I don't know all the partners, but you know, Brian mentioned Dave Fields. He's been a great advocate for us, and I think he's made a big difference in regards to their distribution.
Well, he's been in the industry for a long time.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, yeah.
Running, the Budweiser
He
distributorship.
knows a ton about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's also very, very helpful. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
But you know, initially, we want to keep it small. We want to keep it local. The licensing, I think I mentioned, allows us. If you want to get Purgatory beer, you got to come to us. You know, we can sell it. The license allows us to sell it in any fashion. We could do the growlers, we could do bottles, we could do cans, and you could buy it from us, and you can drink it drink it at home, right? Or maybe across the way at Maison. But the one thing the license allows us to do is sell kegs locally. So we can do that, you know, just like Brian mentioned. If we're going to start selling product at liquor stores, that's another base. Well, I guess it's another license and
Yeah.
a little bit of a change. But right now we're
Our
gonna
first-
keep it in-house.
First order of business is to get
But once you open
running.
it, I'll be able to go down and buy one of these
Yes, you
Sure.
can.
jugs down there.
You got it.
Almost makes like a souvenir too.
It is.
It makes a
They're
souvenir.
very nice.
And it's the sort of thing where, just the way it is, it wants to be filled every week. So,
Yeah.
or several times a week, so.
Or more than one.
You know, I got a couple of those ceramic jugs
Oh, cool.
that my grandfather had. What he used to do is, this is during Prohibition, of course.
Uh-huh.
He would go down across into Sutton, was the Dudley Farm. It's right on
Oh,
the,
yeah.
right on the Dudley,
Yeah.
right on the Sutton line with Northbridge. And the old man Dudley made Applejack.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And he would bring his own ceramic jugs
Fill
and he
it
would
up
fill them up.
The
And,
cork.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's so funny.
And they'd have big poker parties up at the farm that my grandfather had every weekend. They'd have
That's
big
awesome.
parties up there.
That's cool.
And, you know, back then, you had to get home brew because it
There wasn't anything
allowed.
else. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's funny about that is, you know, if you read about the history of home brewing, I think President Carter was the first president to allow people to make their own
Yes,
alcohol
that-
at home.
And that's when it became really big. It really caught on quick.
Yeah.
Home brewing really started, that's what started the microbrew business,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it's
But-
amazing how far home brewing has come in terms of the style and the flavor
Yeah.
of the beer, but it's even more amazing how the industry has gone. Where it was like 3 brewers, you get the same 3 beers, you could buy a case of it for $8, and now it's like a 4-pack
Yeah.
of the best beer you've ever had, and it's $16. For
I know,
4 beer.
huh?
You know, so it is amazing how it's gone. It's turned. It's more like wine now than the way it used to be.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
There's so much choice, and the price ranges are all over the place, and the
Oh, yeah.
styles are so different.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
You know, and it's good because you got the big brewers that's starting to merge into bigger, into one big conglomerate. for crying
monsters.
out loud.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
and they're starting to buy up some of the smaller brewers.
yeah, well, that was, Anheuser-Busch started that because let's put them out of business, we'll buy them up.
Yeah, or they know that that's where the trends are, so they
Yeah.
want to scoop up the ones who have sort of established themselves.
Yeah.
And it's turning into a part of their business model to buy those small brewers, or smaller brewers. They're not
Right.
small.
Yeah, I mean, the big guys they're doing fine, but they're certainly feeling the heat, and a group like Anheuser-Busch years ago bought Goose Island just so they could have a style that they weren't all that familiar with.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Makes it easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I also think is, I had a friend of mine whose father was a head brewer at Anheuser-Busch, and he was saying, you don't whether you like Bud or not, you don't realize how hard his job was. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? His job was hard because every single batch had to be exactly
Yeah.
Yep.
the same.
Millions
Whereas
of
with
gallons.
Brian and I, we can tweak things and move things around, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's an acceptable practice, with what we're doing.
They have to be consistent all over the country.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So what they're brewing in Merrimack
It's
has to
amazing.
match what
It
they're
is
brewing in
amazing.
St. Louis.
Absolutely.
In fact, if you remember, I remember back when, a while back, when people would try to read the Bud label to see where it was brewed,
Yeah.
and if there was St. Louis beer, I gotta get the St. Louis one.
That's funny.
And it was no different, and Budweiser tried to tell people that, but they wouldn't believe it. Oh, no, it's a
You know
different water.
what
it's-
else is kind of funny is that you could have a case of Bud or a 6-pack or whatever in your refrigerator for months,
Yep,
and you could open it and it tastes exactly the same.
yep.
Now these styles of beers, it's a matter of weeks before they start to change in flavor and start to, not go bad, but you need to drink them
Well,
fresh.
it can't go bad, there's alcohol in it.
Yeah, you need to drink it fresh.
Yeah.
In some places, we were at the mill last weekend working. My buddy brought a growler to sample, and it said "drink within 48 hours" on it.
Wow,
And part of that is marketing. Part of
Yeah.
it is they want you to refill.
yep,
But the other part is if you drink, you got to drink it fresh to have the best quality.
So that's the irony of the India Pale Ale is the genesis of that beer was the fact that
Yeah.
you put the hops in so it would last a long time, and just like you guys are saying, it does. The beer isn't bad.
No.
It's just
Right.
not as
Flavor
good.
changes, yeah.
So
Right.
that kind of lends to how we're going to be doing business where, we've got a 3-barrel system. It's a small system. It's a small batch sort of operation, and it will be probably for a while. But what that does is it's going to create a situation where, we can only make so much beer.
right.
So it's our plan. We'll make beer whenever, 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line. All of it's consumed. Brew again, repeat,
Yeah.
but you're always getting a fresh product. And the way we're going to be packaging our product in either cans, maybe bottles, but with the growlers, it behooves you to drink it soon.
Yeah.
Soon. When I
Yeah.
say soon, within a week,
During the week.
and we'll be open the next week. So
That's right.
Well, there is a difference in a flavor from a bottle to a can,
yes.
because you're not getting that metal.
Well, you know what's funny, Harry, is there was a stretch where
It had to be bottles.
you drank cans because that's the way
That's all they had.
Bud was,
Yeah.
or well, you had cans.
Well, it's convenient.
It's
Yeah.
convenient, and then if it's in a bottle, it's better.
Right.
Well, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. I disagree because with an IPA, you don't want light to get to it. Light affects IPAs more than
Well,
any
that's
other
why
beer.
you have the duck.
Yeah.
So you've got the dark,
Or a can.
and I'm not quite sure who did it for the first time, but the company that I know of is the Alchemist out of Vermont. They started putting IPAs in 16-ounce cans, primarily because no light can get through those things. They're
Right.
perfectly sealed, and that's been the trend. So, ironically, go from can, bottle, and now the beers, most of the beers that we buy retail-wise
Cans.
come in cans.
Yeah.
And they don't last very long with us.
No, they
Well,
don't.
Miller came out with the clear bottle, calling it the champagne of
Oh,
bottled
right.
beers.
Yeah.
And it is.
But one of their problems was they had to move it quick,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
because it would go quick, it would
Yeah.
spoil quick.
Yep. Yep.
And part of the reason why they could do that is that it's a lager, and that's why like with the Corona,
Yeah.
it's a lager. It's a lager style beer, so light doesn't affect them as much as or at all like it would affect an ale. But
But when people went, That's why all beer comes in brown bottles,
Yeah,
so the light doesn't get to it.
that's right.
Also, so you think it's always full.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't see the level. No, this is really exciting. I mean, this is, I say, you're unique to the area.
Yep.
We're low, and on the planning board, I've been saying this right along, that I think we're talking about how is Northbridge going to develop in the future. And I keep pushing the fact that I think that we can be a very strong tourism area.
Yeah,
We now have a national park.
right.
There are people that tour national parks. They travel all over the country
Right.
trying to tour them all.
Yep.
We're a unique national park because we're different now. We're not. You don't come here to see gushing water
Yeah.
or buffalo. You come here to see history
Yep.
as it was made, and you're going into a place that is historically correct.
It is, and it's a beautiful space. And the other thing, driving to work my day job every day, I drive down Church Street. So for the past
Yep.
umpteen years, I've driven down Church Street, and to see the change where there wasn't much selection. Now you got pizza, good pizza,
Yep.
Thai food, sushi.
Yep.
Like you see all these, and then some small businesses popping up. It's exciting, and
Antique businesses starting to pop up.
it's great.
And
So-
I think that's a good move, because I think that's part of your draw. If you look at Sturbridge, which based their whole town on Sturbridge Village,
right,
and it's all antique and specialty shops.
and it's packed
And they're
all the
always
time.
packed, yeah.
yeah, it is.
This is a cool place. I mean, I've lived in, I don't even know how many states. One of the things that we did is we bought vintage license plates from the 70s. There's a place in Vermont that was selling them. Like, I'm going to buy a license plate for all the states that I've lived in, and there's a whole bunch of them. Not all 50, but many in the states that Brian lived in. But this is where we live. This is where we've raised our kids. This is where we're obviously staying, and we're not going anywhere. We love this place. It's a very unique part of the country.
Yeah,
It
hey,
really is.
So
we might have to
people-
move into the mill.
So
You
people
never
get to know,
know.
where are you originally from?
So I was. You really want to know?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think you're gonna.
So I was born in New York, lived in Connecticut, lived in Idaho, came back to Connecticut,
What part
went
of New York?
North Tarrytown, New York.
Oh, I'm familiar with Terrytown, yeah.
I was only there for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
So
Over
school,
by the Tappan Zee.
yeah, right across the way.
Yeah,
How do you know?
I've
New
been
York.
all over.
Okay.
Yeah, I travel a lot.
Oh,
too.
great. Yeah.
So spent some time went to school in Rhode Island.
Ah.
Worked down in Manhattan for a while, Virginia, and now in Massachusetts.
Ah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. I started in Jersey,
Oh, okay. What
What-
part of Jersey?
Freehold, Central,
Yeah,
Springsteen.
Yeah.
Probably heard of them.
I spent some time there.
Yeah.
Fort
And-
Dix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up down there, and then went to school in Rhode Island. Lived in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And then made my way up to Mass from Natick to.
That's a
Sutton.
big farming area.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. People don't.
They don't
know.
realize that.
No. It's underappreciated.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I mean, we start seeing corn up here, native corn, fresh corn.
Yeah.
It's coming out of New Jersey.
Jersey corn,
Because it's
that's
ripe about a month before ours is.
And most of the blueberries too.
And same with the blueberries,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Huge,
good.
huge fields down there.
Yeah, the beaches are good. People know
Yeah.
the smell of the turnpike, and that's what they think of.
And diners.
Yeah.
I used to hitchhike the Jersey Turnpike back in the 60s.
Did you?
Yeah.
When I was down at Dix, to come home here.
You know, my
Oh, boy.
grandfather used to work up in Sayreville, and he
Yeah.
would hitchhike to the shore
Oh,
and then catch a ride back.
I wouldn't advise it today.
No, no.
I would get on the Jersey Turnpike, I'd
Yeah.
sneak by the toll booth and get down, and then I'd start hitchhiking.
You walked on the turnpike?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, in uniform.
Yeah, you can't do that now.
And nobody would stop and pick you up.
I would get
You always
rides,
get a
especially
ride.
in uniform.
Okay.
Truckers were really good.
Okay.
That's great.
But I remember when you got near Elizabeth
Yeah,
and in that area,
yeah.
that was where all the refineries and
Yes.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
we're going back
yeah.
in the late '60s, early '70s.
Yeah,
it actually had a stench.
It still does.
Did you have your gas mask?
It's not
Your-
bad
your
now, it's
mustard
not bad,
gas
it's
mask?
so much better now.
No, I had family that lived in Elizabeth, and my grandfather worked at one of those refineries, and I remember going there to visit
Yeah,
my grandparents and stuff, and it has that tinge in the air, you know? But, hey, we gotta get the gas from somewhere, I guess, right?
right.
Yeah,
But they cleaned it up a lot. It's unbelievable how much of a difference it is now.
Yeah.
From when I used to go through there way back then.
yeah,
And then it's also, it's famous for the invasion from Mars, H.G. Wells,
oh, right, the radio show.
the radio
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
because they came in through the swamplands of
So
Jersey,
funny.
and that's right outside New York.
I don't think they would have survived.
No.
So
I know.
you'd find a bunch of like UFO things. Like, what happened to these guys? The Jersey Devil got them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's a nice area through there. Then I was up in northern New Jersey a few years back. I was
Yep.
selling animal carts, animal-proof carts, rubbish carts that bears
Oh,
couldn't
got
get
it.
into.
Oh, I see,
'Cause
for
it's-
the parks?
A lot of people don't know. Real people don't realize northern New Jersey has a huge black bear population.
Yes,
they
it's
do.
huge.
Tons of deer, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they don't. Well, first of all, Jersey's overpopulated, but they don't cull them the way that they should. You know, there's
right.
tons and
They
tons.
don't let them hunt them out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my father lived in Oakland, New Jersey, and they put this mega neighborhood in, basically in a spot where there's a whole bunch of black bears, and
Yeah, and they got to go somewhere.
yeah, they don't,
Yeah.
humans and black bears don't mix
No,
incredibly
no,
well.
they don't. But the black bears kind of like because they find food sources.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. There's,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I have relatives down in Delaware, so we travel down that way,
Nice.
down to Garden State.
Yep. Summertime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my son interned at St. Barnabas
Oh yeah.
Hospital in
Yep.
Bellevue.
Yep.
nice.
That's great.
Yeah,
He's a
he
doctor?
did his internship. Yeah, he's a doctor now. Works up in Lowell.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
So good to see him.
Yeah,
That's good.
he was
Good
out
for
in
you.
New York for a while. He was out in lower tier over by
Yeah.
Binghamton.
Okay.
Nice.
How do you like that?
Oh, nice area out there, but no jobs.
I
No.
see.
It's a beautiful area. I mean, I liked it. You're right along that Pennsylvania border.
What kind of doctor?
Geriatrics.
So he's in Lowell.
Yeah, he runs the Summit.
Nice.
It's run by Fallon Clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs the Summit in Lowell.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
He started in Leominster, but then he opened one in Lowell, so he moved over there because he lives in Chelmsford.
Okay.
Does he like beer?
Good
No, he's a
question.
wine drinker.
He's a wine drinker. Well, we have to work on him then.
Yeah.
Bring him over. Bring him over.
My other son likes beer. He lives right across the street from me. He works
Alright.
for Caterpillar.
All right. We like him.
Yeah,
He can come.
yeah.
I like the other one too, because we need doctors, but
That's true.
But-
No, I'm looking
and maybe we
forward
can
to
work
it.
it.
You know, I mean, and it's not going to be a hangout. It's not going to be like neighborhood bar where you go down and
No, we will have limited hours.
Right.
So it won't be open all night.
it's
Yeah.
we look forward to having folks come down. The pouring license is essential. Hang out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is. Enjoy the space, enjoy the view. You get the waterfall there.
yeah.
We're
There'll be
hoping
no entertainment. You haven't got that much room in there, have you?
Well, we'll have us,
Yeah.
and we'll have some music, and we have space for
Guess what? We're running out of time.
a smaller
Oh, yeah.
smaller band, I'm sure. So
Uh-huh.
the-
Well, you
the-
can get Dan Chauvin in there.
yeah, get Dan in.
Bart McCracken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
McCracken.
very good.
absolutely.
Oh, I'd
So-
like to get him on here.
I'm
talk to
I'm
him.
sure he will
Let
come
him know.
on.
Yeah,
so.
I've had Dan on a number of times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They play.
Yeah.
He's a drummer. Could he play?
No,
on here?
Dan Chauvin?
No, my buddy Bart.
Oh, he's a drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay. Well,
He's like one of the best drummers.
we'd love to have him.
Okay.
We gotta go.
Okay.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. I can't think off top. Oh, I think I'm in here with the superintendent again. We gotta talk about our summer reading program. So we'll see you next week on About the Valley.
Thanks.